In this video, I want to share with you my top 10 Dolby Atmos demos. Every time I have somebody come over to check out my home theater, to listen to my setup, this is the script that I go through on Kaleidescape. So I want to walk you through the choices, the movies, the scenes, and share with you why I chose these particular scenes. There's a variety of reasons, so let's just jump right into it. So what you're looking at here is my Kaleidescape script. And so I'm going to walk through each one of these. You can see I've set these up in the Kaleidescape to automatically play. So I go to my Youthman demo script and they start playing in this sequence. So the very first thing that I start off with is Trinnov's Row of Rows. This is a free Dolby Atmos demo that you can download from the Trinnov website. I'll have a link to that down in the description if you're interested. I think there's like 12 to 15 different clips that you can download, and they've got several more that they'll be releasing in the next couple of months as well. So definitely be sure to check those out. If you have a Kaleidescape, a lot of those you can download straight from the Kaleidescape store, so just search for it in the store. But I chose Rows of Rows because when I start off the demo, I just want something super peaceful. I want to introduce somebody to Dolby Atmos. A lot of times when people come to hear my setup, they've never experienced a proper Dolby Atmos setup, and some of them have never experienced Dolby Atmos at all. And so, or maybe they have it at their house and they don't have anything to compare it to. So I want to start off with something just kind of easy and just smooth. And so these guys are rowing these boats, and it's just a really just a soothing, you hear the atmosphere, you hear the birds, you hear the wind, you hear the rowing of the water and the water churning. And then there's this deep kind of rumble at the end. So you get a little bit of LFE, but it's nothing like overwhelming. But Trinnov did a really good job at utilizing the different channels, the different height channels, the surround channels. And it's just a really, really enveloping sound. And so I always start off with that one. The next one I go into is a little bit of music. And so in A Star is Born, a lot of times I love to go to this demo. It's always Remember Us This Way. Lady Gaga just sits down at a piano, and so it's just very melodic. It's very musical, because a lot of people think that, you know, for a dedicated theater room, you can't have good sound for, you know, music. And that is just not true. I think a great home theater can do both music as well as movies exceptionally well. And so I want to give them a taste of movie clips as well as music. But this one, again, is kind of pretty subtle, but she's got some big vocal, big vocal range, and it's just a female vocal that you can kind of focus on. There's the piano, but then there's also just some really subtle nuances. You hear her fingers touch the keyboard. You hear her lips touch together. And so to me, it's just a great, great demo as well. There's another one I use sometimes on that, but that's kind of my go-to. The next one, we really get into some a great scene that has some incredible use of your height channels. And that is A Quiet Place. In A Quiet Place, I always go to the red light emergency scene. So this is the scene where I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but basically, you know, she's pregnant, and so she's about to give birth to a baby, and the monsters in this movie, they can't see, but they can hear. And so the point of the movie is you have to be very, very quiet or you die, and they come and eat you and get you. And so she is headed down to the basement, and she steps on a nail. When she steps on that nail, she drops I believe it's like a picture frame, and it shatters on the ground. There is a big, deep, multiple chords that are played on a piano. When it hits the ground, of course, the shattering of the glass is super, super detailed. And but then it's just really quiet. And so you get these dynamic range in this movie. You go from super quiet to big action to subtle nuances. And throughout this scene, of course, she walks over to the light switch. Basically, it's like a control box that turns on the outside exterior red lights, and that lets her family know, hey, we've got danger. I need some help, because they were away from the house. And so she turns that on because she knows the monster's in the house. But during this scene, the monster comes, he starts off above you, and you can physically hear him breathing and stepping. And it's in specific areas of your height channel. So I have a 7.2.4 Dolby Atmos setup. So I have 4 overhead height channels. And so you very clearly hear him in the top left at times, and sometimes in the top right. And then when he walks down the stairs, it starts out at the top left, comes down to your front left speaker, and then he travels to the side speaker and the rear surround. And so you just get this very, very immersive, very detailed, and an incredible use of Dolby Atmos. So I love, love, love this clip. But on top of that, like if that wasn't enough, there is some absolutely redonkulous LFE. I mean, we're talking big, big bass. And so if you've got some very capable subwoofers, in my setup, I've got 4 18-inch subwoofers from JTR. It pressurizes the room. I mean, you feel it. I don't have any tactile transducers in my room, but you absolutely feel it. So if you don't have a quiet place, absolutely pick that up on 4K, Blu-ray, or if you got Kaleidescape, definitely purchase that. The next one's Furiosa Mad Max Saga. This one is the ambush at the bullet farm. And so this is a very, very high energy one. There's not a lot of downtime. There's always something blowing up, something going off, a gun firing. And so there's a lot of opportunity here to utilize some really great low frequency effects, that deep foundation, rumble, big explosion kind of things. There's certain parts in there where, you know, she's firing a sniper rifle, super crystal clear. You hear it ricochet at times. There's another part I really like where they're trying to attack the truck that he's driving, and they come by with a flamethrower. And when the flamethrower comes across the truck and into the cab of the semi, there's just some really, really deep bass there. Later on, the truck runs into this tower. The tower falls over, and there's a bass drop there. So it starts off a little bit higher frequencies, and it's kind of like the old THX, you know, demo where it goes, ooh, and it hits really low. It does that. Just some big, big, big impact there. You know, quite a bit of Atmos is done in that as well. There's one part in particular I really like when he's falling on the platform. Once the truck hits it, the platform drops down, and all of these sniper shells or shotgun shells or some kind of shells, gun shells, start rolling down, and then it falls over him. You totally hear it above you, and it's just rolling from you know, one side to another, and then drops down. Really, really cool use there of that surround and immersive sound. But I really like that one. So then after we've done 2 big kind of action movies, I jump back to something a little bit more subtle, which is A Greatest Showman. I love, love, love this movie. It's a fantastic movie to begin with. The story, the music is done extremely well. There's so many great songs in that, but the one I choose is Never Enough. And again, this is just a very subtle, very beautiful female vocal, piano-driven song. But as that song begins to build, her vocal range just goes nuts, man. And it's just big, and the volume of the, I guess, of sound in the room is just incredible. It'll put chill bumps on your arms. So that's a great one that I go to. The next one I share is Midway. So this is the attack on Pearl Harbor. Another really big, so we go from kind of peaceful and quiet to another big action. And Midway, you know, you're looking at old fighter planes. You've got bombs that are coming down from the planes, hitting ships, blowing up. Of course, the ships are catching on fire, and so there's the rumble of the fire. There's gunshots, so there's ricochets. We've got planes that are flying, and so the Atmos channels are utilized, and the surround channels. Another really, really amazing um, movie, and that's just a great scene to test your and show off your setup, especially the like the LFE. The bass in that is just absolutely bonkers. At times, I actually back that down. Most of the time, I back it down about 2 decibels versus the other clips that I have. I think they've just kind of accentuated the bass, maybe even a little too much. And I love bass, man. I'm a bassaholic, but I back it down just a little bit so that it's not overwhelming. But that's a great one. The next one is Gran Turismo. In this one, it's the GT Academy race. And so in this scene, of course, they're racing to kind of see who gets first place. And so there's several cars there. But some of the things that they utilized I thought was really cool. Of course, you get the roaring of the engine, you get the tires peeling out, you get the subtle details, which I think is really cool, is when they're cornering, there's some scenes where you can hear them riding over I don't even know what you call it. It's kind of like the side of the road. It's like the bump to let you know, hey, look, you're kind of getting off the track. But in that section, when they hit that, of course, the tires sound different riding on that, but there's gravel that they hit. And so you hear all this dirt and gravel kind of fly. And that is just super cool there. And then again, they're just kind of racing back and forth and passing each other. But again, just another, just a really cool race scene. Another one you could supplement that with would be Ford versus Ferrari. I used to use that one a lot. But when they're taking Mr. Ford for a ride, but I end up changing that to Gran Turismo. It just has a little bit more dynamics there. The next one I love, and I'll share with you why. The Book of Eli. If you haven't seen that movie, go get it. It's phenomenal. The story, again, is awesome. Denzel Washington does a fabulous job in that. But in this one, it's the the gunfight in the town. So in this scene, the one bad guy, he tells his other henchman, he's like, shoot him. And when he fires that first shot, I always tell my guests, I said, hey, at this point, as that part is ramping up, it's real quiet at first, and they're just talking. I said, hey, I'm going to turn this up to reference. Usually I'm about 10 dB below reference when I give my demos, but I turn this up to reference. So I tell them it's going to be really loud, but it's going to be really short. There's a single gunshot and then a few seconds of silence and then another single gunshot, but it is crazy powerful. It's amazing. If you've got a really dynamic system, a system that can handle the nuances and just the dynamic range that has, you go from super quiet to a gunshot, very, very loud, ricocheted. You hear the bullet whizzing by, and it's pretty awesome. And then after that, then I back it down to about negative 10 dB. But the whole movie's great. But in that, there's just a lot of gunshots, gunfighting. So I use that one a lot for just demonstrating like an action movie with gunfire. Because they have different guns. They've got pistols, they've got a shotgun. There's probably some rifles, the guys that are on the roof firing down at him. And so just some variety of guns there. So I definitely like that scene. Another good one you could replace that with is John Wick, where he's in I call it the shotgun scene, where he goes into the vault and pulls out the shotgun. And that thing's just insane. That's another great one too, but it's just used so much. I wanted to do something different. So I do Book of Eli. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely get that one. Hans Zimmer, going back to music. This is one of the best Dolby Atmos music concert Blu-rays that you will ever hear. I mean, it's absolutely, truly remarkable. Of course, Hans Zimmer, he writes the scores for so many movies that we love. And one of them that I usually go to is the Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's just a great, great clip. All different types of musical instruments from cello. The cello is awesome. That lady, she just rocks it. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal just watching the video performance of that. But again, they just utilize the Atmos channels extremely well in this. And then at the end, where it just continues to build and build and build and build. Um, and now that I think about it, on this scene on Kaleidescape, the clip ends right when it's like dun 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 dun. I'm like, what the heck, man? So I actually have a custom scene there that goes to the end of that clip. But that particular one is just phenomenal. So I really like the Hans Zimmer. The next one I go to, I've got two more here. Top Gun Maverick. Of course, this is the 2 minutes 15 seconds. You could do the final scene, but especially for people that haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin that for them. But the 2 minutes 15 seconds is just, again, now you're hearing jets. You hear the roar of the jet. You hear the afterburner kick in. You hear the bomb drop at the end. You hear, him flying. And so again, just utilizing all of the Atmos speakers, the surround. It's super immersive. It's very impactful. And so, again, that's just another movie. I was really afraid when they first came out with Top Gun Maverick and they announced it. I'm like, oh, please don't screw up this movie, and fortunately they didn't. It's still one of the greatest movies out there. Just a really great demo movie and a great movie with some great nods to the original Top Gun. And then I end with another just really bombastic, over the top, just very, very dramatic demo, and that's Dune, Saving the Miners. And so several parts I really, really love about this clip. There's a part where when they're like, we're going after them, we're gonna get them. And when he drops the plane down and it comes all the way down to the sand, like just above the sand, that's cool because it gets really quiet and you just hear it go, and then it just deep rumble. The bass is kicking in. You hear the fluttering of the wings of this I don't even know what you describe it as, but this flying machine, basically, aircraft. But this thing is phenomenal. There's other scenes there when he drops to his knees. There's a big bass drop there. When the voices start talking in the scene, that's super awesome, man. You're hearing it specifically in the height channels, and it's just kind of mixing around. And so you're hearing these voices surround him, and it's like, you're imagining inside his head, he's hearing all of this. That's another great, great scene. And then through that whole thing, it's nonstop on your subwoofer. There's a lot of bass in there. So that'll definitely give your subwoofer a workout. You'll feel the tactile bass from that. Your room's going to be shaking. But that's another great demo there. And then, of course, at the end, you've just got this nice, beautiful score that's going through. Actually, probably most of that clip. There's just a lot of music that's being played in the background. And so it's just pretty phenomenal. But these are my go-to, at least for now. Sometimes I'll mix them up. But at the moment, right now, this is the script that I use on Kaleidescape. I've shared previous videos on my channel, and I'll link to it in the description, of how you can set this up if you've got a Kaleidescape. Makes it super easy to build this out on a computer, and then play that, just sequentially. So I hit one button, it starts the demos, and everything that you see on this screen begins to play. As you can see, I get really excited when I talk about demos because, man, movies are what move us. Music moves us emotionally. And so when you've got a great system, a Dolby Atmos system or a DTSX system or even an Oro 3D, whatever your setup is, man, when you get that thing dialed in, there's nothing like it. It's just super impactful. It draws you into the movie. But these are my go-to. And so at the very end of this video, I'll leave chapter markers because I know everybody doesn't have Kaleidescape. And so the titles that I'm talking about are basically from Kaleidescape. And so that may not match up with your chapter markers. So I'll do my best to include that right at the end. So it'll make it really easy, and you can just hit pause and take a picture of it or whatever, and then check those out on your setup. But I would love to know, what are your go-to Dolby Atmos demo clips? What scenes, what movies? and why do you like those? Let me know down in the comments below. And then, of course, if you're interested in a Kaleidescape, we're authorized dealers with Obsessed Home Theater. You can purchase the Strato V. You can purchase the new Strato E, which is our most affordable option that is 4K. So I'm really pumped about that one. And then, of course, we've got the Terra Prime servers if you want to expand your storage capability. But if you're interested in that, you can pick one up at obsessedhometheater.com. Well, here's a list of all the timestamps that I mentioned earlier in the video. So you can pause the video, take a picture of this, or write it down. This will be probably super helpful, especially if you do not have Kaleidescape. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. I love your support. I make weekly content, usually 2 and 3 times a week. So you don't want to miss out on future videos if you love home theater. So guys, hope you have an incredible week. God bless, and I will catch you in the next video.